Hello and welcome back to day 4 of our architecture project. We are getting into the swing of things, and today we're going to go into a little bit more detail of sort of the history of architecture. So blueprints, you've probably heard this word before. What does that mean? What are they? Why are they used? How do they tie into architecture? So our very first thing that we're up to today is clicking where it says blueprints and watching a very, very short video about what exactly blueprints are. We're also going to learn about why were they used. So basically, blueprints were a quick and accurate way to reproduce technical drawings that were really, really detailed. Basically, think of them as a photocopier for before photocopiers existed. The first photocopier wasn't invented until 1938, and blueprints began back in the 1840s. So it gives us a good century or so that we can duplicate things quickly without having to redraw all of those little technical details and all those little measurements and things like that. So basically what would happen is we would place a drawing on top of a light sensitive sheet, exposing both of those sheets to sunlight. Then the parts of the drawing covered with ink remained white and the rest remained blue. So once again, think of it as like an old-fashioned way of photocopying before a photocopier was in existence. Okay, we didn't need to hand trace, we didn't need to redraw. It could be reproduced quickly, and that's what blueprints were used for. Okay, so anyway, now that we know that, we're going to take out these supplies. This should have been in your art kit, and a glue stick and the color pencils. From home, you're going to need some scissors, just a pencil. If you want to use markers instead of the color pencils, feel free to. I think color pencils do a little bit nicer job of being more accurate, so that would be my preference. But once again, if you've got markers, you prefer to use those. For this, it's okay. All right, so what are we up to? We're going to be creating a little house kind of like this out of what we've got there. So first and foremost, we want to be detailing and coloring in our house. So let's switch on over to a view here. So here's my little house, right? And I've got a ruler here too to help with some lines. So if you want to get one of those out too, you can. But basically, I want to take some of that information that I learned last class about, the curb appeal, the siding, the roofing, all that good stuff, and I'm going to add that information on here. So feel free, if you want to, go back to on day 3, and if you want to go back to, let me make sure I'm clicking on the right thing, this, and scroll on down to these images here for some ideas for siding, and these images here for ideas for roofing. Feel free to go back to day 3 and click on those for some inspiration if you prefer. In fact, I'm going to be using some of those for mine. So I've decided, let me just first off, let me explain what this all is. The front of the house. These are windows here. This is the door. These are going to be the sides of the house, and this is the back of the house. Okay? This is going to be like the back second level here and the front second level. It's kind of like a half level, I guess. And then this is going to be the actual rooftop. Okay, so both sides of these are like where you'd be putting the shingles and whatnot. This is like the bottom, the base of our house. And then these little tabs here, those are all going to be where we're going to put our glue. So just so you know kind of what's what in this whole thing. So I have decided for my siding, I'm going to be doing, let's see, I can get my ruler out so I can draw some straight lines. I'm going to be doing some more modern looking siding. go, there's one. And I'm going to try to get as accurate as I can. Don't feel like you need to measure everything out perfectly, but just try to get it, you know, so that when you eyeball it, it kind of looks accurate. Okay, so what I would do is, let me show you what I've got so far. I would continue that throughout basically this whole layer here, that whole level. Okay, because that's gonna, my siding would be the same. Usually the siding's the same on all 4 or however many sides of the house there is. Now that being said, that's not always true, right? Like sometimes we'll see the facade, the front of the house might have brick, and then maybe like the back side or the sides as well might be siding to save on cost. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that all of the sides are exactly the same, but a lot of times it is. So kind of up to you and your design, what you want to do for yours. So I would continue that throughout here. Like I said, this is going to kind of be that upper level, half level, and I decided for that I'm going to be doing some scalloped siding. It could be the same as the lower level, right? It doesn't have to be different, but for some visual interest, I thought it'd be kind of fun to add some variation. So maybe something that looks like this, and once again I would continue whatever I do here, I'm going to continue it on there as well, trying to make them as even as I can. Alright, what haven't we done yet? We haven't yet done the roof. So for the roof, what I've decided I wanted to do was some of the kind of more intricate shingles, the ones that sort of had that U shape to them. So once again, I'm just using my ruler to kind of give me a nice straight edge. And it's going to, I chose these because I thought that they kind of mimicked my siding, and I thought that that might look nice, that repetition in my design. So let me get these drawn out here, and then I'll show you. So that, well, I guess there'd probably be another one started right here, just so that doesn't bug me. There we go. And there we go. Okay, and then these lines, let's see. Now I gotta make sure I skip these little lines. You'll see why momentarily. For my shingles, for my roofing here. Okay, and scooch down a bit. You, of course, can be choosing what kind of design you want for yours. I should also mention, you probably noticed this already, but we are not working on landscaping at all today. This is simply like all the curb appeal as far as siding and shingles and stuff like that. Okay, so from here, do you guys remember the roofing, the shingles that looked kind of like this? So you can see it mimics the design of the siding in some ways, which I thought would be kind of cool. So once again, whatever I do to this bit of roofing, I would also want to do that bit of roofing, but it would be opposite as far as like what way these U's go. So keep that in mind as well. I'm not going to have you watch me do this entire thing because that's going to take a really, really long time. Instead, by the magic of demo videos, boom, look at that, and it's just done. Fantastic. So, you know, it might look something like this. You can see I added in some window treatments, a door handle, some more window design here, but you can see all my siding is the same, my second floor is the same, my roofing is the same, and then of course I don't need to worry about the underside or any of those little tabs. Once you've got that all done, our next task is going to be to color it in. So that's what we're going to do next. Let's see if I can find the right one. I think I was using, maybe this one. Okay, so I'm going to want to color this in, and I like, when I'm coloring stuff in, I do like to kind of add some dimension to it. And that's why I really like colored pencils. So I'm going to just kind of do, notice how I'm holding my pencil, by the way. I'm not holding it like this. That's going to kind of make it streaky. I'm holding it back far, and you could even flip it in like this too. Look at how much more coverage I'm going to get if my pencil is sideways versus if it's just touching the tip of the pencil on the paper. So when we hold it sideways, we get a lot more even coverage as we're coloring it in. You may remember that from when we were shading. Anyway, so feel free to use that little tip if you like. All right, once I want to add a little more pressure though, I might come in here and hold it a little closer. And so basically what I'm doing here is just adding, I know that these kinds of siding, they're actually like, they come out and in, they're kind of more 3D. So I'm trying to give it that look, even though I'm making a 2D, or I'm coloring in something that's 2D right now. We are going to make it 3D, but I'm trying to give it more of that 3D look by adding some dimension to it. Okay. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do this forever. Magic of demo videos. Boom, here we go. It's a little further along yet. Might not be completely done, but hey, we're getting a little closer. Of course, I wouldn't want to just do the siding. I'm going to also want to focus on the roofing as well. I would probably end up doing this the same color as that. I'm thinking. I don't know. Depends on how fun and quirky you want your house to be. And I think I'm going to just do my roofing just a dark gray or black. That's what I'm kind of picturing in my head. Once again, we might want to make this have a little bit more of that 3D look to that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come back in just like I did with these areas here, and I'm going to make some spots darker. So anywhere that that shadow would kind of fall, I'm going to make that darker. So you guys can see you can do shading even with color pencil. It's not like it's only for regular pencil that it works for. But you can see how it's giving it a little bit more of that pop. Maybe I'll go another layer deep here in the demo just so you guys can get a bit better of a feel of what that might look like. So let's go to this layer too. So once again, where that shadow would be, because the light wouldn't hit there quite as much since it's overlapping, that's where I'm going to be bringing in that shadow a little bit, making it darker there. Probably a little darker here too on the sides of each of these because those kind of stick up, so they'd be a little bit shadowed towards the sides. So you can just see how that's creating a bit of a 3D look to it. I'd have to finish coloring this first. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that entire thing because we still got more to go here. So once you do have this colored in and looking just the way you want it, our next step is going to be to cut it out and to glue it together. The dotted lines are where we are going to make folds. We're going to bend our paper, and then those little tabs are where we're going to put our glue. And it is a little bit persnickety is going to be the word I'm going to use. You might fumble with it a little bit. Sometimes an extra set of hands can be helpful. But you don't need them. You'll see I'll be able to get it done even just by my lonesome. I mean, Sylvie is in the room with me. I don't know if you guys heard her say hello a moment ago. But I don't think that my puppy is going to be able to help very much. So, looks like I'm alone in this endeavor, friends. Alright, got the top half, the more complicated half is cut out. And of course, feel free to take your time with this. You don't have to go quite as quickly. Alright, last little sections here, the bottom of the house. And our last little tab here. There we go. House is cut out. Once again, anywhere we see the dotted lines, we're just going to make a fold. going all the way around here. And we're kind of folding it all inward. Or I guess back might be another way of thinking of it. There we go. And get that little tab. And this little tab. Going all the way around. Okay, let's check back at the front. Fold that in. Like I said, it gets a little bit daunting at some points here, but we'll make it happen. All right, and then this I'm just going to give a little bit of a fold, little crease there. And then, oh, you could even, I should have mentioned this. If you want to, you can cut this part of the door out and then fold it here if you want your door to be able to open. That's optional, up to you. I am not going to, but it is kind of cute and fun if you do. All right, I think I got all the folds. I think we got them. Okay, so I'm going to start at the base of the house first when we're building. Always good to start at the bottom, right? So here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those 3 bottom tabs. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to bring everything around. And as I'm doing that, I'm just kind of pressing down, trying to make sure it lines up as best I can with that base. Like I said, it gets a little bit finicky and persnickety. We'll get it. So here's what that's looking like so far with just the bottom. Although this little bit did come off a little, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to do the little side tab to glue the edges of the house together. And there's just going to be that one. Once again, you guys can take a little more time and hold it in place a little bit longer, and hopefully yours won't be coming apart quite as much as mine here. All right, but we are getting there. Okay, last little bits here. One of your rooftops has 2 sides here, and one has a tab on the top and a tab on the side. I'm going to start with the one with 2 on the sides. And of course, feel free to come back to this video. I would never expect you guys to remember this, like what order to go in. But also, I mean, I'm not saying that you couldn't probably figure out how to do it on your own either. All right, there we go. And last but not least, we'll glue that little tab. I think my glue stick is too big. It's gigantic for this tiny thing. All right, that one goes in there. And see if we can get this one to fit in there. There we go. It is a little bit off. If I took my time, I could do a better job, but it'll look something like that. We have just officially moved from the world of 2 dimensions to the world of 3 dimensions. Look at that, a 3D home. Now this is not at all your finished product, of course, but it just starts giving us a little bit more of an idea of how to put things together to make it go to 3D. I'm gonna have to redo that roof. I'll do that after the demo though. Anyway, this is your job between now and next class. Go ahead and design, decorate, color in your 3D home. Once you're ready then, go ahead and cut it out, glue it, and assemble. And I can't wait to see how yours turns out. Have so much fun, and don't forget to record your time in your art journal under day 4. We'll see you next time.